check. Hello dear students, how are you all? I TAUSIF Ahmed welcome you once again on this wonderful platform Exampur, and today we are going to study the second part of participle. Those who have attended my class, they must know that yesterday we studied participle part 1, and today we are going to study the second part of participle, that is very important, and today we will see some very important questions for your examination. So please pay attention, and if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me anytime, right? So let's start. See, let us revise that what we had studied yesterday. So, yesterday I told you what are participles and perfect participle, present participle, all these things we have already studied. Okay, so today we have to start from the use of all three participle as participle phrases, right? So today we have to study how a participle is used as a participle phrase to join two sentences, right? So today we are going to study about participle phrases. Okay, so what is participle phrase? What is a participle phrase? See, a participle phrase is a participle followed by an object. It can be used either to modify a noun or in the beginning of a sentence to connect two clauses, right? What is a participle phrase? A participle phrase is a participle followed by a noun, followed by an object. For example, this is present participle and this is perfect participle, right? This is present participle and this is perfect participle. So when a participle is followed by an object, when a participle is followed by an object, it is called a participle phrase, right? So participle followed by an object, this is called participle phrase. Okay, this is perfect participle followed by an object, this is called perfect participle phrase. Okay, so participle phrase is a participle followed by an object. It can be used either to modify a noun. This participle phrase can be used to modify a noun, means this can be an adjective, or in the beginning of a sentence to connect two clauses. And this participle phrase can also be in the beginning of a sentence to connect, to join two sentences. Okay, so what is a participle phrase? A participle followed by an object is called participle phrase, and a participle phrase can be used as an adjective to modify a noun as well as in the beginning of a sentence to connect, to join two sentences. Okay, let us see some examples. See, here we have two examples. First example is, I could not find the boy. Okay, I could not find the boy. We have a noun here, I could not find a boy. And who was the boy? When I say I could not find the boy, suppose I say to you that I could not find the boy. What is the obvious question that comes in your mind? Who was the boy? Which boy? Okay, so the next part is wearing a long jacket. Wearing a long jacket. So wearing is present participle and it is followed by an object. So this is participle phrase. This is a participle phrase. Wearing a long jacket, participle phrase. And in this sentence, the participle phrase is modifying the meaning of noun, or we can say it is the identity of noun, right? So I said I could not find the boy. When someone asked me which boy, who was the boy, so I told his identity, the boy wearing a long jacket. So in this sentence, present participle is used to modify the noun, right? Now second sentence, wearing a long jacket. Now this is the same phrase that we had used in the first sentence, wearing a long jacket. I went out in the rain to find my brother. Okay, so the participle phrase is the same. This is the same phrase that we used in the first sentence, but in the second sentence the role of phrase has been changed. In the second sentence, this participle phrase has been used to join two sentences, to join these two clauses, right? So a participle phrase can be an adjective to modify the noun, or it can be in the beginning of a sentence to join two clauses. Okay, if you have any doubt, please ask me. Okay, so is this clear? Did you get what is a participle phrase? Okay, so now let's move further. Now, how to use a participle phrase to connect two clauses? Now this is very important. This is very important. How to use participles to connect two clauses? This is the most important use of a participle, right? And most of the questions that are asked in examination come from this particular rule. So how to use participles to connect two clauses? This is very, very, very important for your examination. Okay, now see, use of participles as participle phrase. A present participle. Now please pay attention. We are talking about two participles, present and perfect. Past participle has some different rules, so we'll talk it about later, right? Right now we are talking about just present and perfect participle. So here, a present participle phrase is used to join two sentences which have a common subject. This is something very important. I want you to pay attention here. A present participle phrase is used to join two sentences which have a common subject, okay? So this is something very important. If two sentences which do not have a common subject cannot be joined using a participle, okay? To use a participle, it is mandatory that both the sentences have the common subject and actions are simultaneous or closely related. So there are two conditions without which use of present participle is not possible. What are those two conditions? First condition is that the sentences which we are going to join using a participle must have a common subject, and second, both the actions means the actions mentioned in both the sentences must be simultaneously or they must be closely related. Let me give you one example. If we have two sentences, I called Ravi, Ravi did not come. If we have these two sentences, we cannot join, can't be joined using participle. Okay, these two sentences cannot be joined using participle. Okay, these two sentences cannot be joined using participle. Why? Because both the sentences have different subjects. In the first sentence, subject is I, and in the second sentence, subject is Ravi. And to use a present participle, common subject is mandatory in both the sentences. Okay, so these two sentences cannot be joined using present participle because both the sentences have different subjects. Now, I took tea, I went to market. Now tell me, can we join these two sentences using present participle? Please let me know. These two sentences were not be able to join by participle because both the sentences have different subject, but these two sentences have the common subject. So can we use present participle to join these two sentences? Can we use present participle to join these two sentences? No, we can't. Why? Because to use a present participle there are two conditions. Okay, to use present participle there are two conditions. First condition is they must have a common subject. Okay, and second condition is the actions must be simultaneous or closely related. So in these two sentences we do have a common subject. In both the sentences, subject is same. I is the subject of first sentence and it is the subject of second sentence as well. But are these two actions simultaneously? Simultaneous actions? No. Are these actions closely related? No. There is no relation between my taking tea and going to market. Both the actions are not closely related. For example, if I am going to market and someone asked me, where are you going? I said, I am going to market. He said, why? So I would never say, just because I took a cup of tea, I am going to market. Is this the answer? No. Because there is no relation between my taking tea and going to market. Both are different actions. Both actions cannot be simultaneously. I cannot go to market while I am taking tea. So the actions are not simultaneous, not even closely related. So we can't join these two sentences as well using a present participle, because to use the present participle both the sentences must have a common subject and the actions mentioned in these sentences must be closely related. Okay, so what type of sentences can be joined? Now see, I watched television, I had lunch. Okay, now in these two sentences, as you can see, subjects are common. Both the sentences have same subject, that is I, and both the sentences have actions which can be simultaneously. I can watch television while having lunch. Okay, I can watch television while having lunch. That means actions are simultaneous. Okay, so we have two sentences, I watched television, and second sentence is I had lunch. That means I can watch television while having lunch. This shows that the actions are simultaneous. Okay, so there are two conditions to use a present participle. First condition, sentences must have a common subject, subjects are common. Second, actions must be simultaneous or closely related. So here two actions are simultaneous. So now we can use a present participle to join these sentences. Okay. Now this was about present participle. Okay. So let me tell you one more time that we can use a present participle to join two sentences, but there are two conditions. First is that both the sentences, why I am repeating this again and again, because this is something very important. Okay, so in present participle, subjects needed to be common and both the actions must be simultaneous or closely related. Now let's talk about perfect participle. Perfect participle. A perfect participle phrase is used to join two sentences which have a common subject and an action happens only after another action has completed. Right? So just like present participle, perfect participle also require a common subject. Okay, as we needed common subject to use a present participle, same is the case with perfect participle. Here too we need a common subject, but in present participle what was there? Actions must be simultaneous or closely related, but in perfect participle actions are not simultaneous. In perfect participle one action happens after the another action has been completed, and here actions are not even related to each other. Okay, so the sentences where subjects are common but one action happens after another action and both the actions are not even related, there we have to use perfect participle. Okay, for example, I took tea, I went to market. Okay, so in this sentence we cannot use present participle. We cannot use present participle, but perfect participle can be used. Perfect participle can be used. Okay, because subjects are common but actions are not simultaneous. So in this case we cannot use present participle, but we can use perfect participle. Okay. Now how to use a participle phrase? How to use a participle phrase? For example, I watched television, I took lunch. Okay. I took tea, I went to market. As I have already told you that these two sentences require a present participle. Why? Because both the actions are simultaneous, and these two sentences require a perfect participle because actions are not simultaneous. So how to use a participle phrase? What you have to do to join these two sentences, just remove the subject, change the verb in present participle, that is watching television, and same second sentence as it is, I took lunch. So this is how you use a participle to join two sentences. What we did? We just removed the subject of the first sentence, and helping verb is not there. If it were there, we would have removed it also. Okay, so remove the subject or helping verb if it is there, and change the main verb into present participle and second sentence as it is. So watching television, I took lunch. This sentence, meaning of this sentence, what is the meaning of this sentence? The meaning of this sentence is that while I was watching television, I took lunch. Means both the actions were simultaneously. I was taking lunch and I was watching television at the very same time. Okay, so the present participle means that both the actions are happening at the same time. So watching television, I had lunch. Watching television, I took lunch or I had lunch, means that both the actions were happening at the same time. Now, same is the procedure, same is the process to use the perfect participle. Remove the subject and the helping verb. In this sentence, helping verb is not there. If it were there, we would remove it also. So I took tea, I went to market. Remove subject, change the main verb into perfect participle, that is having taken tea, I went to market. Now what is the meaning of this sentence? Having taken tea. So the use of participle denotes that an action is happening after the another action has completed. So having taken tea, this means that after I had taken tea, I went to market. After I had taken tea, I went to market. Right? This means, when did I go to market? I went to market only after I had taken tea. So in this sentence, this action happened after the first one had completed. Okay, so this is all about present participle and perfect participle, right? So good morning everyone. I want you to keep giving me feedback that whether you are getting my point or not, whether you are understanding these things or not. Okay, now, so now the next thing, types of questions based on participle phrases. Okay, this is very important, because only by reading rules, only by knowing the procedure, we cannot solve the question. So this is very important to know that what type of questions based on participle phrase are asked in examinations. So there are three types of questions. Three type of questions based on participles. Okay, there are three types of questions based on participles. Okay, first type of question is use of appropriate participle. As we know that we have three participles: present, perfect and past. Past participle we haven't studied yet, I'll tell you about it later. Okay, So use of appropriate participle means that we have three participle, present, perfect and past. We are not talking about past right now. So there are two participle, present and perfect. So whether a present participle has to be used or the perfect participle has to be used in a sentence, that is the use of appropriate participle. Okay. Questions are often asked based on the use of appropriate participle. In most cases, a present participle and a perfect participle cannot be used interchangeably. In most cases, present participle and perfect participle cannot be used interchangeably. Means in a sentence where a present participle is needed, you cannot use perfect participle. And in a sentence where perfect participle is needed, you cannot use present participle, because we have just studied that present participle is used to join two sentences with simultaneous action, whereas perfect participle is used to join two actions which are not simultaneously, not even closely related. So how can we use present and perfect participle interchangeably? We can't. So let's see example 1. Here, taking tea, I went to market. Is this sentence correct? Taking tea, I went to market. Is this sentence correct? No, this is not correct. This sentence is wrong. This sentence is wrong. Why wrong? Because present participle means both the actions are simultaneously. So this sentence means that I am going to market while I am taking tea. Like my taking tea and my going to market are happening simultaneous. Is it possible? No, it is not possible. How is it possible that I am going to market, I am going on foot, or I am going on a bike and I am taking tea? Not possible. So here use of present participle is not correct. In this sentence we need perfect participle, having taken tea. Okay. In example 2, having been busy, I could not meet my friend. So here we have used perfect participle. Is this sentence correct? Is this sentence correct? No, this sentence is also wrong, because having been busy means after I had been busy. After I had been busy means when I was free. When I say after I had been busy means when I was free. So this changed the whole scenario, this changed the whole meaning of the sentence. So having been busy, I could not meet my friend. So when could I not meet my friend? When I was still busy. Okay. So here both the actions must be simultaneously. When could I not meet my friend? I could not meet my friend when I was still busy. That means after I had been busy is not the correct meaning. So in this sentence we have to change perfect participle into present participle, which would be being busy, I could not meet my friend. So this is the first type of questions that are asked in examination based on participle, that you have to use the appropriate participle. Okay, you have to see whether the sentence requires a present participle or a perfect participle. Okay. So this is the first type of question. Now please tell me, did you get the rule? Did you get this structure? Please, as I said, keep giving me your feedbacks. Your feedbacks are really valuable for me. Okay, now second type of question is misrelated participles. Okay, first we have to keep in mind that an appropriate participle has to be used. If a sentence requires present participle, a present participle has to be used. If a sentence requires perfect participle, a perfect participle has to be used, right? The second question is, misrelated participle. Now what is misrelated participle? A sentence which has present participle phrase in the first part of the sentence must have a common subject. Okay. If a sentence has present participle phrase in the first part of the sentence must have a common subject. If the participle does not have the same subject as the second clause, it is called misrelated participle. So here I have given you the example of present participle, but this is same with perfect participle also, right? So if a sentence starts with participle and it does not share the subject with the second clause, it is considered wrong. Okay, so what does misrelation of participle mean? The misrelation of participle mean that the participle phrase and the main clause do not have the common subject. As we can see in the example, the sentence is being a rainy day, I could not go out. So in the second sentence we have I as the subject. In the main clause, this is the main clause, no, this is participle phrase and this is the main clause. So in the main clause we have subject I. So can I be the subject? Can I be the subject of first clause as well? No, I cannot be the first subject subject of first clause. Why? Because in this sentence we are talking about rainy day. We are talking about rainy day, and for rainy day subject should be it. For rainy day subject should be it. So in this sentence the subject of main clause cannot be the subject of participle phrase. Subject of main clause is I, whereas in the participle phrase we are talking about rainy day and the subject for a rainy day must be it. So here the subject of participle phrase is it and the subject of main clause is I. So this sentence does not have a common subject. It means this sentence is wrong. Sentence is wrong. And one more thing, what if this sentence were divided in two parts? This is first part, this is second part, and this is third part. So we know that this sentence is wrong, but where is the error? In which part does the error lies? So error lies in the first part. Why first part? Because use of present participle is not possible if subjects are not same. Despite this we have used a present participle. Okay, subjects are not same, despite different subjects we have used present participle. That's why use of participle is wrong, and this is the reason the error lies in the first part. Okay. Now second sentence, walking along the fence a car hit me. So in the second sentence the subject of main clause is car. The subject of main clause is car. So can this subject be the subject of participle phrase also? Who was walking along the fence? Who was walking along the fence? Was it the car? Was it the car who was walking along the fence? Or it was me who was walking along the fence? So it was not the car, it was I. It was I, because we have the object here, a car hit me, a car hit me. This means it was I who was walking along the fence. So here the subject is I, whereas the subject of main clause is car. That means this sentence is also not correct. This is also wrong. This sentence also has error in the first part. Okay, so this is called misrelated participle. A sentence which starts with a participle and does not share a common subject in both the clauses is called the misrelation of participle. Now please tell me, is this rule clear or you want me to explain it again? Please tell me. Is this rule clear, or you want me to explain it again? Please tell me. Am I understood clearly? Okay. So this was misrelated participle. Okay, so this was the second type of questions that are asked based on participle. Now, third type of question. As I told you that there are three types of questions that are asked from this topic, participle. Okay, first was use of appropriate participle, second misrelated participle, and now this is the third one. Third one is contradictory clauses. Contradictory clauses. What are contradictory clauses? In a sentence, the participle phrase and the main clause should not contradict each other. Okay, in a sentence, the participle phrase and the main clause should not contradict each other. They should present a similar idea. They should not contradict each other. Okay, let's see our first example. Being a very rich businessman, Ramesh never helped the poor. Being a very rich businessman, Ramesh never helped the poor. So in this sentence, the participle phrase and the main clause are contradicting each other. How are they contradicting each other? If Ramesh is a very rich businessman, he is supposed to help the poor. He should help the poor. He must help the poor. If someone is rich, if someone is really rich, what is his duty? It is his duty to help the poor. But in this sentence, we are saying that Ramesh is very rich businessman, but he is not ready to help the poor. So there is a contradiction between both the clauses. Okay, Ramesh is rich, but he is not helping the poor. So contradiction is there. And in the second sentence, being selected means here the subject, whoever the subject is, has been selected. Being selected means what? That whoever the subject is, he has been selected somewhere. Okay. Ravi decided not to join the railways. So if someone has been selected, he must join, but Ravi has been selected, still he is not ready to join. So here also both the clauses are contradictory. Okay, so this sentence is wrong and this sentence is also wrong, because both the clauses are contradictory, and to use a present participle, clauses must not be contradictory. Okay, now if the clauses are contradictory, what can we do? If the clauses are contradictory, participles must be used with despite or in spite of. Okay, so if the clauses are contradictory, participles must be used with despite or in spite of. So in the example 1, as you can see, being a very rich businessman, Ramesh never helped the poor. This sentence is wrong because both the clauses have contradictory meaning. So how can we rectify this error? What we can do is, despite being a very rich businessman. Now this sentence is correct. Despite being a very rich businessman. Okay, and in the second sentence as well we can write despite being selected. Okay, you can use in spite of as well. Okay, in place of despite you can use in spite of, but don't add of. If you will write despite of, this will be wrong. Okay, whether to use despite, okay, or in spite of. Okay, so these were three types of questions that are asked from participles. Okay, now some important questions based on participles. Some important questions based on participle. Here I'll tell you some one or two questions, then we'll continue this class tomorrow. Okay, so question number 1. Being a good player, our team needs Rohit as an opening batsman. So now tell me, is this sentence correct or there is any error? Is this sentence correct or there is any error? Being a good player, our team needs Rohit as an opening batsman. Is this sentence correct or does this need any improvement? Please answer this question. No error. Pallab Mandal said no error. Anyone else? Anyone else who agrees with Pallab Mandal? Okay, Sakshi said he being a. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Rohit is a good player. See, the very first thing is to check for the misrelated participle. Misrelated participle means both the clauses must have a common subject. Subjects should not be different. Okay. Now, as we can see, the subject of second clause is our team. Okay. The subject of main clause, second clause is our team. Right? The subject of main clause is our team. Now, what is the subject of first clause? Is our team the subject of first clause? Is our team the subject of first clause? No, it cannot be, because our team cannot be a good player. Our team cannot be a good player. Who can be a good player? Rohit is a good player. So the subject of first clause should be he. As we can see, the subject of second clause is our team, but our team cannot be the subject of first clause, because in first clause what we are saying, being a good player. So how can we say that our team being a good player? Our team being a good player is wrong. He being a good player. So here we are talking about Rohit. So the subject of first clause is he. That means subjects are misrelated. Subjects are misrelated. In the second sentence, in the second clause, that is the main clause, subject is our team, but in the first clause the subject is he. Okay, so subjects are misrelated. That means in this sentence first part has error. First part has error. So solve these questions carefully. Pallab, did you get the point now? Okay, so this much for today. We'll continue the same topic tomorrow. Okay, participle is a really very important topic, so it may take 3-4 days to complete it, right? So tomorrow we'll continue, and tomorrow we'll solve some more questions based on participle, and then I'll tell you how to improve these sentences. Okay, this sentence is wrong, but one more question is left, that if this sentence is wrong, how can we rectify this sentence, how can we improve this sentence? Okay, so that I will practice some other day. Tomorrow I'll continue, I'll resume class where I am leaving today. Okay, tomorrow we'll solve some more important questions, then I'll tell you how to improve these sentences. Okay, so this much for today, rest we'll see tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.